So what shows were you producing at the early days in CBS that people would have heard of?
Well, our first hit show during that time was Everybody Loves Raymond. You know, we were desperately in last place. So we put on Raymond, and we slowly began to build brick by brick. And a couple of years later is when we put on CSI and Survivor, and that sort of changed the game. Those two shows came on in the same year. NBC, which had dominated network television for 2 decades, we put them both on Thursday night. And we took down NBC for the first time in 2 decades on Thursday, and we ended up beating them, and we've now beat them for the last 14 out of 15 years.
So like Survivor, when Survivor came, that was an unusual show at the time. Did you say, get this guy out of here, that's crazy, or you said maybe there's something to it?
No, the first time one of my guys pitched it to me, I said, that's the stupidest idea I've ever heard. That doesn't belong on CBS, that belongs on some bad cable network.
Okay.
16 people on a desert island and one gets thrown out every week. That's ridiculous. So he was persistent, this young development executive, and then he brought Mark Burnett in to meet me. And for those of you who don't know him, he is maybe the most persuasive person you've ever seen. You know, he subsequently after that did a show called The Apprentice, and we know what happened from there.
Who was the star of that show?
Right.
There was somebody...
I don't remember.
Okay.
But Mark Burnett was a great producer. He put on Survivor, and here we are 18 years later. Survivor is still on Wednesday night at 8 o'clock and still wins its time period.
So do you ever say this show is going to be great and it turns out to be a bomb? Do you have any of those stories? Or?
All the time. Look, our batting average is better than most, but it's still probably 4 out of 10. 4 out of 10 is a Hall of Famer in television. But that's sort of the television business. You know you're playing for the few wins.
Well, in television, everything seems to be ratings. Are you sure that the people that do the ratings are really giving you accurate numbers?
Well, that's one of the questions, especially now, because now linear ratings aren't the whole ball game like they used to be. So you'll take a show that initially, in the initial viewing, won't be that good, but when you count DVRs and online ratings, suddenly the numbers go up considerably.
So I notice on ratings, very often TV shows are judged by how many people in the ages of 18 to 49 or 25 to 54 are watching. What about the people who really have the money, who are in their 60s and are really sophisticated? Why aren't they counting?
You're absolutely right. That's one of the things that's bothered me for all these years, and it has changed. They used to do 18 to 49 was all that mattered. That's changed. And the argument was, who has more money, a 50-year-old or a 19-year-old? Who has more money? Who has the buying power? And I remember one year, NBC was out selling that they have the highest 18 to 25-year-old upscale viewers. So I do my presentation. I said, the only 18 to 25-year-old upscale people I know are my kids, you know, and I'm deciding what kind of car they're going to buy, not them, you know. So, it was sort of a bogus statistic. And you're right. So now the good news is more and more people who are a little bit older, the average age of the 60 Minutes viewer is over 60. But we make a lot of money on that show. We're selling a lot of pharmaceuticals during that show, but we still make a lot of money.
Yeah, the shows I watch, they often have Depends ads,
right,
or they have catheter ads. And
we're not going to talk about ED advertising
not have
either.
that. But wasn't Viagra a big seller for you?
It was, but they changed the patent laws. So in all seriousness, the Viagra has gone down. By the way, that was made up by the head of our advertising group. I'm not going to steal that joke.